Descriptive adjectives. Well, first of all, what is an adjective? Well, an adjective describes nouns. There are three main types of adjectives in Spanish. There are descriptive, possessive, and demonstrative adjectives. We're going to start off by looking at descriptive adjectives. Descriptive adjectives match in number and gender to the noun that they modify. Let's take, for example, the adjective rojo, or red. In example number 1, we see el carro rojo. We'll note a couple of things. That, first of all, el carro is masculine and it is singular. Alright, moving along to example 2. Los carros rojos. Notice how rojos matched in number and gender to the noun that it was modifying. In the first example, rojo describes el carro. In the second example, since the word being modified is plural, los carros, we have to make sure that the adjective matches in number and gender. Rojos. Okay? Now, some other examples. La silla roja and las sillas rojas. Here we see an example of the adjective red describing a feminine noun, silla. Notice how it changes from singular to plural. Alright? However, not all adjectives will end in an O or an A. Some adjectives that end in an E or a consonant have the same masculine-feminine forms. Well, what does that mean? Let's take a look at the examples. Here we have, with number 1, el niño inteligente. Inteligente is the adjective. Number 2, los niños inteligentes. Number 3, la niña inteligente. And number 4, las niñas inteligentes. So notice that inteligente really only has two forms, singular and plural. Adjectives that end in or are masculine, and those that end in ora are feminine. Let's take a look. Number 1, el hombre trabajador. Trabajador, singular and masculine. Los hombres trabajadores. Number 3, la mujer trabajadora. And number 4, las mujeres trabajadoras. Here we see both the masculine singular and plural with examples 1 and 2, and we see the feminine singular and plural with 3 and 4. So again, these are adjectives that end in or ora. Moving along, for groups that are all female, use the feminine, and for mixed groups, use the masculine. For example, number 1, Marta y María son rubias. So Marta and María are blonde. So here we have a group of 2 females, so we're going to use the female and plural form of the adjective rubia. Number 2, Marta, Marcos y María son rubios. So here we have a group with Marta and María, but also Marcos, who is a male. Because we have a mixed group with masculine and feminine, we're going to have the masculine form of the adjective rubio. So here we have rubios. Now with the majority of these examples, we have not used the word am, is, or are. These can be used with descriptions. For example, la silla es roja. The chair is red. We don't always have to say la silla roja. La silla roja means the red chair. But la silla es roja, the chair is red. Las sillas son rojas. The chairs are red. Notice the difference between is and are. El niño es inteligente. Las niñas son inteligentes. Yo soy trabajador. I am a hard worker. Ella es trabajadora. Okay? moving along, here are some common adjectives. These you will need to memorize. You'll notice alto and alta have both masculine and feminine forms. Likewise, they have singular and plural forms. So we could have alto, altos, alta, or altas. So four possibilities. And the same with antipático, bajo, bonito, bueno, and delgado. But notice that when we get to difícil, or fácil, that these do not end in an O or an A, they end in a consonant. These only have two options, either singular, difícil, or plural, difíciles. It doesn't matter if it's masculine or feminine, the noun that is being modified, with these ones. Gordo, it does matter. Grande only has two forms, grande or grandes. Guapo has four, masculine, feminine, singular, plural. Importante, two. Inteligente, two. Interesante, two. You get the point. But go ahead and study these, remember them. One important thing to note is that most of the time, adjectives will come after the noun that they modify. Here are some examples. Juan es muy alto. Sorry, adjectives come after the noun they modify when we are not using the words is, am, or are. So if I were saying la casa blanca, notice blanca means white and it comes after the word that it's modifying. Alright, so now moving along to our examples. Sorry. Juan es muy alto. Carlos es bajo. María y Carla son bonitas. Maria and Carla are pretty. Yo no soy delgado. I am not thin. La tarea no es difícil. Es muy fácil. The homework is not difficult. It is very easy. Mi casa es muy grande. Ellos son muy guapos. They are very good looking. Mi libro de texto es muy importante. My textbook is very important. Los niños son muy jóvenes. The kids or children are very young. Carlito es un niño malo. So Carlito is a bad kid. Okay, so notice malo coming directly after niño. Right? So these are common adjectives. Again, masculine, feminine, singular, plural. Typically they come after the word they modify when we are not using is, am, or are in the sentence. And that's pretty much, those are the main things you need to know. Go ahead and memorize the adjectives and their different forms and practice their uses.